The morning sun bathed the quiet streets of Silverest Grove, a serene neighborhood known for its leafy avenues and tranquil charm. Rays of golden light filtered through the towering oaks, illuminating the winding jogging path where Lenora Blake found her peace. Her athletic gear hugged her lean frame, and wireless earbuds played a soft podcast as she jogged, her breath even and measured. This was her sanctuary, an escape before the chaos of the day began. At 40, Len had earned her reputation as a tough yet fair investigator. As the chief inspector for the State Ethics Bureau, she had spent years tackling corruption within public institutions. Her work came with its share of enemies, but Lenora thrived under pressure, knowing her efforts led to meaningful change. After years of living amid the clamor of city life, she'd chosen Silverest for its tranquility, a place where she could reclaim a sense of calm. The soft hum of a vehicle disrupted her. A patrol car moved slowly along the street, parallel to the jogging path inside. Officer Dirk Haynes sat gripping the wheel, his brow furrowed. To Derek, the sight of a black woman jogging in a predominantly white, affluent area didn't fit his upbringing. Under a retired military officer, father had left him steeped in rigid ideas of control and belonging. The moment he spotted Lenora, his mind filled in the blanks. Derek had worked this beat for years, and in his mind, he was the guardian of Silverest. His instincts told him to investigate. He flicked on his car's lights and maneuvered onto the jogging path ahead of Lenora, blocking her way. Lenora slowed, pulling out one earbud. As her brows knitted in confusion, she sighed inwardly. This wasn't the first time she'd been singled out, but she felt the familiar frustration creeping in. She stopped a few feet from the car as Derek stepped out, his uniform pristine but demeanor exuding tension. "Hey, what are you doing here?" Derek called out, his voice sharp and commanding. Lenora, her tone calm, gestured toward her outfit and the water bottle strapped to her waist. "I'm jogging," she replied simply. Dirk's eyes narrowed, his suspicion unwavering. "We've had reports of suspicious activity in the area. You match the description. Care to explain what you're really doing?" Lenora blinked, surprised at the audacity of the accusation. "I live here," she replied evenly. "I run this path every morning." Derek folded his arms, his expression hardening. "No ID on you. I'm guessing I left it at home," Lenora said, keeping her tone steady. "I didn't think I'd need it for a jog." "Convenient," Derek muttered with a smirk. "No ID, no proof. You live here sounds sketchy to me." A few neighbors paused on their morning strolls, watching the interaction action from a distance. Some held their phones discreetly recording. Lenora glanced at them, her patience beginning to wear thin. "Officer," she said, her voice tinged with quiet authority, "this is a misunderstanding. I'm not doing anything wrong." Derek took a step closer, his presence looming. "Misunderstanding? You think I'm new at this? Either cooperate, or we're going to have a problem." Lenora's jaw tightened. She met his gaze, her voice firm but calm. "You're making a mistake. Think carefully about what you're doing." Dirk's temper flared. Is that a threat? He reached for his handcuffs, gesturing sharply. "Turn around." Hands behind your back. Lenore didn't move. "Officer, I'm advising you to reconsider," she said quietly, her composure unwavering. "You're crossing a line." Dirk grabbed for her arm, but Lenora shifted fluidly out of his grasp, leaving him momentarily stunned. The murmurs from the onlookers grew louder as phones captured every moment. "That's resisting arrest," Derek shouted, his frustration mounting. He lunged for her again, but this time Lenora didn't resist as he wrenched her arms behind her back and clamped the cuffs on. Roughly, her calm demeanor only made Derek angrier. "You're making a scene," she remarked softly as he guided her toward the patrol car. "You made the scene," Derek snapped, shoving her inside. He slammed the door shut, his hands trembling with a mix of anger and unease. "Let's see how tough you are now." From the crowd, voices rose in protest. She didn't Do anything, a man called out, holding his phone high. Another woman shouted, "We've got everything on video." Derek turned toward them, his voice strained back up. "All of you." His attempt to reassert control only seemed to deepen the crowd's outrage inside the patrol car. Laura looked out through the window, her expression calm yet resolute. "You'll regret this," she said softly, her words hanging in the air as Derek radioed in. "This is Officer Haynes, Silver's Patrol," he reported, his voice shaky as he exaggerated. "Suspect detained, violent, resisted arrest, requesting backup." Immediately, the onlookers erupted in disbelief. "Violent, you're lying," someone shouted, while another added, "We saw everything." She didn't resist. As the patrol car began to move, Lenora's gaze remained steady. Derek had no idea the storm he just invited into his life. "Officer," Derek Haynes waved off the onlookers. "Move along, this is a police matter," he barked, his tone sharp but edged with unease. As the crowd continued recording in the back of the patrol car, Lenora Blake sat silently, her expression unreadable. A faint smirk played on her lips, one Derek couldn't see but would remember later. She observed through the window as he struggled to manage the growing crowd, his confidence slipping under the weight of their cameras. As the car rolled away, distant shouts from the onlookers followed. "This is going online," someone yelled. Lenora leaned back, composed. She knew the truth would catch up to Derek soon enough. At the station, Duck entered with misplaced confidence, carrying Lenora's paperwork like a trophy, one for trespassing and resisting arrest. He announced loud enough for others to hear. She got combative. Lenora raised an eyebrow but remained silent. She didn't need to correct him. The facts would soon speak for themselves. Moments later, the station doors bursted open. Chief Inspector Rio Winslow strode in, her commanding presence silencing the room, holding a tablet displaying a live stream video of Derek's actions. She barked, "Haynes." Derek froze mid-sentence. "Chief Winslow," he stammered, "I was just handling." "Save it," she snapped, slamming the tablet on the counter. The footage showed Derek's aggressive arrest and the crowd's vocal protests: "Trespassing, resisting arrest, combative. Do you even know who you just arrested?" He swallowed hard. "She said she lived there, but I didn't." Lenora Blake Rhea interrupted, her tone cutting. "Director of the State Ethics Bureau, your superior." Derek's face strained of color as reality hit. Lenora stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "I warned you this would catch up with you." Rhea's voice was cold. "Your actions have humiliated this department. Effective immediately. You're suspended pending a full investigation." Within minutes, Derek's file revealed a troubling pattern of misconduct. Officers murmured as details surfaced. Derek stammered weak protests, but Rhea silenced him enough. Lenora addressed the room, her tone resolute. "This isn't just about him, it's about the system that allowed this to persist. Change is coming." The silence was heavy as her words settled. Rhea turned to the room. "Let this serve as a warning. We are here to serve the public, not abuse power. Anyone who disagrees can hand in their badge." As Lenora exited the station, applause greeted her outside. She offered no reaction, focused instead on the fight ahead. The road to change was long, but Lenora was ready to walk it. As Lenora walked through the cheering crowd, her steps were purposeful, her mind already on the work ahead. The fresh morning air felt like a quiet victory, but she knew this moment was only the beginning. Change wasn't a sprint, it was a marathon, and she was determined to see it through. The viral footage, the accountability measures, the ripple effect of exposing systemic failure. This was how progress began. Behind her, Officer Haynes sat alone in the station's break room, the weight of his actions bearing down on him. His fall was inevitable, but for Lenora, it wasn't about individual reckoning, it was about dismantling the culture that allowed such behavior to thrive. Silverest Grove might go back to its CONF, but Lenora wouldn't stop until communities everywhere felt safe. As she disappeared down the road, the Crowd's applause faded, but her resolve burned brighter than ever.